Hi.
Hello.
Sophia, hi.
Hi, hey Kim.
Yeah. Yeah, so today we're going to talk about occupation. And today I invited Sophia, who is one of the members of our meetup. And I think Sophia has a lot to say about her job because Sophia has shifted to another field and we have things in common. Okay, so we upload the questions in the 더보기 in the YouTube, so check it out. So we're gonna
Mhm.
read the questions one by one. So the first question, Sophia, could you read it for us?
All right. Choosing the perfect job that we can commit to is one of the most important decisions we have to make in our lives. What has been the most rewarding moment while you work? Was it when you received positive feedbacks from your coworkers or clients, or was it when you got a fat paycheck?
Yep. So the core question is, when was the most rewarding moment while you work? So before we answer this question, Sophia,
Mhm.
why don't you introduce what you do?
Hello, guys. I'm
Mhm.
Sophia, and I'm a civil servant at the moment. Previously, I worked as a cabin crew and English tutor for several years. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. So you worked as a flight attendant and then now you're working as a civil servant, right?
Right.
Yeah, so could you tell us separately what was the most rewarding moment when you were a cabin crew and when you were a civil servant?
Mm, when I was a cabin crew, I received some positive feedbacks from the company. I still remember one of the flights.
Mm-hmm,
Uh, I had a malfunction of the aircraft that time.
mm-hmm.
So we couldn't provide a hot meal for the customers, and also we couldn't flush the toilets. It was a huge
Oh,
disaster. It was the flight heading to Paris. Most of them were Parisians. They were
mm,
very nice to us. We did our best, and also they tried to understand us. Although it wasn't the best service, we provided very excellent service, and they finally understood our situation.
wow.
So although I didn't receive any paycheck, extra paycheck from the company, I felt really rewarded.
Wow. So you solved a major problem during the
Yeah,
flight.
yeah, it was a mechanical problem.
Mm. So could you explain in more detail how you solved the problem? So you were one of the members, right?
Right.
So did you report it or report the problem or what did you specifically do?
Each cabin crew had 50 passengers to in charge.
Uh-huh.
So I approached to them one by one and I explained the situation, and also I try to care for them like 8 hours.
Mm. You tried to what?
Approach to them and
Oh,
explain the situations.
mm. I know most of the Peruvians speaks French. So did you
Right.
speak English?
Yeah, I spoke in English and they sometimes reply to some words in French.
Oh, wow. But it must have required a lot of courage to approach them one by one and apologize and explain the situation.
Right. But I consider that it's my one of the duties to
Mm.
make them happy and satisfied at the end of the flight.
You're a very responsible cabin crew.
I was.
Yeah. Oh, that was really great to hear. Your problem solving ability really shined.
Yeah, it has been increased.
Yeah, that's good. You also mentioned that you worked as an English tutor.
Right.
What about when you were a tutor?
I taught English interview classes for many students who work overseas.
Hmm.
So whenever they got the job or passed the interviews, I felt so rewarded,
Ah,
and it was meaningful time.
mm. So you guided them how to speak in certain situations and help them articulate what they want to say more clearly, right? In English.
Right. I mainly taught some expressions for the English interview and also some skills to pass.
Mm. So the things that you taught was based on what you learned from when you worked as a cabin crew, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's all connected.
Yeah. And also I passed the English interview to work as a cabin crew.
Mm.
So I shared my tips.
Yeah, you're like the perfect example for them, role model.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Oh. And what about when you worked as a civil servant right now? You're a civil servant.
hmm
When do you
these days,
feel rewarded? Yeah.
mhm. These days I work for the city,
Mm-hmm.
and I usually check English official documents.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I check English keynote speeches or welcome speeches for the team leader. So when he speaks very fluently at the international meetings, I felt so rewarded.
Wow. So you check the the speech and correct some expressions, or
Yeah,
what do Mm,
sometimes I modify it
mm,
to be more fluent in the meetings.
good. I think all your jobs are related to each other.
hmm
So your experience as a cabin crew helped you be a tutor and teach tips in the English interview. And your English speaking ability also helped when you're working as a civil servant.
Right. However, I don't speak English that much these days. I usually write some English.
Mm. But one thing I found that is that you like to help other people. Is that right?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
When I was a
You,
student, I participated in volunteer club.
ooh,
So it was one of my hobbies as well.
what did you help other people? What did you help with?
I visited the orphanage
Oh,
and I helped the disabled people.
mm, yeah, that's so great. I think you're, I don't know if there's a word called helper, but I think you really feel rewarded and satisfied when you see the results and see when the person gets practical help.
hmm
Yeah,
I was
that's
kind of a caregiver.
caregiver. Ah,
hmm
great. Um, so I'll share my story. So
yeah.
I work as a TOEFL writing teacher right now,
hmm
and I have things in common with Sophia. I also feel great when students report to me that they have better scores or higher scores in their TOEFL test. But strangely, other than that, what really makes me satisfied is when they nod in the classroom and like do this,
hmm
because it makes me feel that makes me feel that they are understanding what I'm saying. So, and I feel kind of rewarded, and I feel that we are communicating with each other, we are interacting with each other.
hmm
So that's the moment when I feel really satisfied, when students just nod, or they sometimes say ah, like things like that. Yeah, that makes me happy.
You feel like you guys have mutual understandings.
Yeah, that's the best, because I can't be a person who just talks alone. Yeah,
hmm
so we have to interact with each other, and the most important job of a teacher is to make students understand what I'm saying. So
Right.
whenever I see students like that, it refires my passion towards teaching.
hmm
So I research and study ways to develop ways to make students understand well better. So I try to come up with easy examples to make them understand.
Right. It's
Yeah,
really important.
yeah. Yeah, and some,
Hopefully it's kind of
yeah,
difficult exam.
difficult exam.
Yeah.
Why?
I've tried once.
Ah,
It's really long text and also it's really hard to understand and
ah,
it's very academic.
yeah, TOEFL is an academic exam. Yeah, it is. Yeah, but anyways, other than that, when students give me message of gratitude through email or
Mhm.
in person, that's also a very rewarding moment.
Also, they pass some exam and they enter the universities.
Yeah, yeah, that's good, right? So I think I'm kind of similar to you, giving help to other people, but I think you have much more diverse experience than me. Yeah. So, anyways, in whatever form, I think we like to help people.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the next question. I will read it for you. Many workers have kiddingly complained that they feel slight physical pain on Sundays just thinking of the idea to go to work on Monday. Have you ever felt this way? Why do you think a great number of people, especially in Korea, feel this kind of emotion? So there is a term called 월요병 in
Monday
Korea.
blues? Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Monday blues. Yeah. So have you ever felt this kind of emotion?
Yeah. I think it's universal because most people have work pressure.
Mhm.
I've experienced the Monday blues while working as a tutor and even these days as well. During the weekend, I chill and relax. And whenever I think about work on Mondays, suddenly the work pressure comes to me. So it's a kind of natural feeling that everyone has.
Yeah, I think every worker shares this feeling.
Hmm. Do you
People
have
who
Monday blues as well?
um I rarely have that, to be honest.
Wow.
I don't know why. I just like my job. Of course, when there is too much work during the
Hmm.
vacation months when students come to the academy to study, there are about over 100 students in a class. And when I have to correct a lot of essays, I feel, of course, really stressed, but overall, I like the job. So I think I rarely had that emotion, maybe once or twice for 2 years. Yeah,
Not
so
that
I'm
common. Hmm.
I'm really blessed. Yeah, but I
Right.
still share the same feeling like, oh, I want to sleep more, but I have to wake up at like 8 a.m. next morning. Of course, I have that kind of physically exhausting,
Hmm.
physical exhaustion,
Hmm.
but I like the job itself. So
You enjoy your job.
yeah, I love my job.
That's really important.
Yeah, but let's talk about other people in general in Korea.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure of other people in other countries, but I just feel that Korea has so much work pressure compared to other countries.
Right.
Yeah, so
I think because Koreans usually have some work to do, although they finish their work.
mhm,
Sometimes they work overtime, and although they get paid more, they feel so exhausted.
right.
And also social gatherings, we have a lot.
Yeah, that's so correct. Even though the culture has changed after COVID-19,
Hmm.
still I think those social gatherings after work exist. And although it's not an obligation, if you don't participate, the boss or other members uh might consider you like something bad. So anyways, I think that kind of culture still exists.
Right. I think it's culture in East Asia.
Right.
Even
And
Japan, they work overtime and they have lots of social gatherings.
oh really?
Yes.
In Japan as well?
Yeah.
Mm. And I think Korea has a hierarchy
Mhm.
according to age. So even though you finished your work, if you go home earlier than the boss, it's kind of considered rude, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Still, it exists.
Yeah, and also I feel the desire to be successful and rich in Korea is so strong
Mhm.
compared to other countries. So that's why we spend a lot of time on our work. So I think that makes Korean people drained
Right.
out. So I think that is also one of the factors that make Korean people reluctant to go to work. Yeah.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the third question. So this time, Sophia, could you read the third question?
All right. Our profession forms our identity and who we are since we spend more of our time in the workplace. How has working influenced you both positively and negatively? Have you become a more enthusiastic person willing to make a change or a person who mechanically work without any passion?
Yeah. So I think one of the most important choices in our lives is the choice of jobs
Right.
because we spend the majority of our lifetime in our workplace, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, how has working affected you?
Working has positively influenced my life. When I was unemployed, I lost enthusiasm and willingness to change. However, after starting to work, I have become enthusiastic. I consider that after fulfilling our capabilities in society, we might feel a sense of satisfaction.
Mhm.
In this sense, I'm more likely to be a passionate person at work.
Mm. So what kind of passion do you feel during your work? For example, when you are working as a civil servant right now,
Mhm.
um, you said that checking your seniors like address, their speech also makes you feel rewarded. But aside from that, what kind of passion do you feel in your workplace?
I try to make a better society for the citizens as well.
Mm,
When my senior has a great outcomes, it connects to the social fulfillment.
mm,
So I feel so rewarded.
yeah, you're such a model model civil servant.
Thank you
So
so much.
yeah, you feel that you are contributing to the society as a civil servant partly, right?
Mhm.
That's so good.
What
But
about you?
me,
Mhm.
positive, let's see. I think I became a better speaker while working. I used to talk really calmly and quietly, but right now I have to speak in front of a lot of people.
Right.
So I try not to mumble
Mhm.
and try to speak out loud and more confidently because teachers have to persuade students in some ways, right?
Mhm.
So I think it definitely helped my speaking ability. And other than that, um, I also share the same feeling with you. I feel that I'm helping certain people to get a high score in the test. So it really makes me feel that I'm contributing to them. And not only that, and whenever I get messages from students that they say that, oh, because of you, I get to like writing more. I think uh I think writing is so fun. When they tell me those kind of things, it makes me feel so good.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's the positive things. And just having a job makes me feel so safe.
Right.
Yeah. I have a place to go every morning, and I have students who always wait for me. So I'm just really grateful because these days it's really hard to get a job, especially a satisfying job.
Right. It's
So
much better than unemployed.
yeah, being unemployed could be good like for a few months,
Mm-hmm.
but if you are employed for a long time, it makes you more anxious, and it makes you a social outcast.
Mm-hmm. I felt the
So
same thing
yeah,
as well.
yeah. So I think that's why senior citizens and the elderly work again when they get older, because staying at
Right.
home and just doing nothing rather like is not good for them in
Although
some way.
they have a pension to receive, they still work.
Yeah. It gives them a sense of belonging, a sense of worthiness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, then why don't we talk about the negatives of working,
Negatives. Maybe work pressure.
work pressures?
Yeah. If we have a lot of work pressure, we feel exhausted and drained too. So I think a little bit of work pressure is really helpful to work and push ourselves to forward. However, if we have a lot of work pressure, we feel like, oh, I want to give up.
Yeah, that's so true.
Hmm.
Yeah, a moderate amount is always the best.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's hard to adjust sometimes.
Mm, right. What about factors related to relationship? You worked as a cabin crew, a tutor, and right now as a civil servant. So all these
Hmm.
jobs involve interaction with other human beings. So have you
Right.
ever felt stressed out while interacting with these people?
When I worked as a cabin crew, I was one of the members, and we had 7,000 to 8,000 crew members. It was a huge group. And for each flight, I was assigned to a new team. I had to adapt to a new team for each
Mhm.
flight. So it's quite challenging. However, it's really good opportunity to meet new people.
Mm. You worked in a foreign airline company, right?
Right.
So I think it will be quite different from airline companies in Korea. I think there would be less hierarchy, and it's the relationship is not vertical. It's quite
Right.
horizontal, right?
Right. The seniors respect us, and also when we have something to speak out, we could share with seniors and the company as well. But in Korea, as I heard, it's really hard to express our own opinion.
Mm. Yeah, that would be that's so great to hear. Because if you feel ignored, it's although you can earn a lot of money, I think it's not really satisfying.
Yeah, that's why I chose foreign airlines.
Yeah, good. And for me, I work as a teacher, but we rarely have like a regular meeting or like a social gathering
Hmm.
because the teachers in private academy, in my case, we are employed like separately, individually. So we're not like a worker working from 9 to 6.
Hmm.
So I sometimes go to the academy at 7:40 p.m. to start a class.
Well, you have
So
evening classes.
in the evening classes, yeah.
Hmm.
If my first class is in the evening, I go to work at that time. So it's quite free. So
It's really flexible.
yeah, it's really flexible. So um but at the same time, you always have to control your time really wisely,
Hmm.
because if you have evening classes, you might wake up at like 2 p.m. every day. So I think you have to have a certain amount of self-control.
Yeah.
So it
When
could
I
be a
was at, yeah,
but
sorry.
yeah, no, it
Mhm.
could be a bad thing, but it's up to you how you control it. Yeah.
Right. When I was a tutor, I spent my time in the morning.
Mhm.
For example, like I worked out and I met some other students to improve my, classes.
Oh,
It's
you were
kind of consultation.
mm, you were kind of diligent.
I tried to be diligent.
Oh, yeah, I actually do that too. Although my class starts in the evening, I have personal training, and then I go to a speech academy to improve my speech.
Really?
Yeah, I
Wow.
registered a few days ago.
How is it? Is it
Um,
good?
it's great
Wow.
because and I don't want to change my voice drastically, but what
Hmm.
I want to do is I want to have a more stable voice tone. And I think the best way is to talk with your, how can I say, abdomen, like your stomach. Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to breathe through your stomach. And in the past, I learned that, but it was quite abstract. But right now, where I'm learning from, they really teach me how to do it correctly. So it really helps me in some ways.
So it's helpful for your classes as well.
Yeah, of course. I try to apply what I learned, and
Hmm.
I experimented in my class.
Wow,
It's still,
such a great tutor.
but I can do that because I'm enjoying it.
Sounds
Yeah.
good.
So I think overall, we mostly don't find any negative aspects of our job.
Right. Because
Yeah.
we love our jobs.
Yeah. I think that's the best thing. Okay, let's go
Mhm.
to the fourth question. This time I will read it. Along with selecting our occupation, marrying someone we want to spend the rest of our lives with is also one of the most crucial choices we make. Imagine that you have only one option. Given the choice between a fantastic spouse and a flawless job, what would you opt for?
That's a
Yeah.
tricky question.
Sophia, what would you opt for?
I would offer a fantastic spouse
Wow.
because I don't want to change a spouse in my life.
Mm,
However, regarding the jobs, I think I can change whenever I want.
that's true.
Yeah. What
Oh,
about you?
it's so, both are so important in our lives.
Right.
Uh, Actually, I will choose a flawless job
Mm,
because I prefer to have a fantastic spouse, but I feel it's kind of unrealistic because I know it, I know it sounds creepy, but women used to live longer than men, right?
right.
So men can die before I die. So what I'm saying is that when we get older, I may have to spend like over like maybe decades longer than my husband.
Right.
So what I'm saying is that if you don't have your own identity, your identity might be formed by your husband.
Hmm.
So I want to have my own separate, stable identity as a person who works. And human are always changeable, and we always find flaws within them. So they cannot always give us satisfaction.
Hmm.
So although I want a good spouse, realistically, I prefer a flawless job because jobs don't betray us. If we put a lot of work, it gives back money, it gives back recognition. So I think it's
Yeah.
safer.
Sadly, husband can betray us.
Yeah. Yeah, humans can betray us.
Hmm.
And yeah, and these days I find professional women with professional jobs so attractive. Of
Have you
course,
seen any
yeah.
women?
Oh, my mom. Yeah,
Oh.
my mom is not a housewife. She works in the medical industry, and
Hmm.
because she worked a lot, she wasn't able to participate in a lot of school events during my school years. But my dad attended them instead of my mom.
Wow.
Yeah, but I still respect my mom because she never gets depressed. I think one of the reasons is because she works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that if you don't work, you're depressed. I'm not saying that, but she has a place to go, and she says that she is helping other people and making the society better. So she always feels grateful and rewarded. So yeah, so I respect my mom and other famous figures. Let's see. Do you have anyone in mind who is
Yuna
this?
Kim?
Yuna Kim.
Yeah,
She's like the
kind of legend.
legend. Yeah, she's a legend. I really respect her because she did it not only just for herself, but for her family and her people who supports her.
For the nations too.
Yeah, I saw one of her interviews and she was crying, saying that her family sacrificed for her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the reason why she brutally practiced every day was because she know how much her parents sacrificed for her. So it was kind of sad, but I could feel that she has a sense of responsibility. Yeah,
Right.
so she's so, I don't know how to say it. She's so cool. Yeah. Okay, so let's go to the last question. So, Sophia, could you read it for us?
In this capitalistic world, many people say that money solves almost every problem. That's why the majority of people pursue high-paying jobs. Apart from trying to make our ends meet, what do you think? What do you want to ultimately achieve through what you do? And what kind of person do you want to be regarding your career?
Yeah. So many people might say that we work because we have to earn money. That's it. They may say that, but I think there's more than that. So, Sophia, what is your purpose of working?
Money is important in our lives, of course. However, it can be a solution for all matters. Since I work as a civil servant now, making a better society is one of my goals to achieve. For example, I would like to make some programs that are useful and convenient for the citizens.
Mhm.
And foreigners in Korea would have some problems with communication. So I would like to help them. To be
Mm,
specific, changing the signs from Korean to English and providing some medical services in English will be very helpful for them.
wow. It's like a perfect TOEFL speaking answer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you gave a specific example.
That sounds interesting.
Yeah. Wow. So are you currently working on that part? The second part you just talked about the sign?
I'm trying to move my department.
Mhm.
So yeah, it will be regarding the foreign like environment.
I think that's so helpful because the world, we live in a globalized world and there are so many foreigners in Korea right now. And
Right.
there could be some difficulty in communication.
Hmm.
Could definitely help them because when they come to Korea, they have to deal with these documents. And when they can't
Right.
understand certain words, they have so much stress, right?
Hmm.
Mm.
Even some notices from their apartment, they felt so difficult to understand.
Yeah. So you could like kind of translate it or make them understand it by like having a phone call or like helping them, right?
Right.
Yeah. That's so great. Because I thought I just expected me and you to answer quite abstract in a
Hmm.
very But you answered really specifically. That's so good. Um,
Thank you.
yeah. And but I have a question. It's not related to the last question, but
Mhm.
since when did you like helping other people?
Uh, since in my 20s or 10s,
Oh, really?
yeah. When I was a
Was it
teenager, I was a member of volunteer club as well.
wow?
Yeah, I think it's one of my natures.
It's your born talent.
Yeah, right.
That's great. Mm, okay, so I think I also have to say something really nice. Um, what I want to ultimately achieve through what I want, what I do. I know this sounds so cheesy and so cliche, but I want to be just happy.
Mhm.
But happy is not happiness is not like a temporary feeling, but it encompasses all kind of positive emotions. It could be sense of rewardness, sense of belonging, sense of gratitude, all sorts of positive emotions. But to be more specific, I wanna like my job and be good at my job. I already like my job, so I want
Mhm.
to be more professional at my job.
I can see that.
Yeah. So whenever I meet my cousins and relatives, they half kiddingly ask me, "So, hey, are you like the 일타스타 강사? Are you 일타?" Like they that 일타 in English means like, are you like the best teacher? So there are a lot
Top
of
tier.
teachers. Yeah, top tier.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I'm only 3타. Yeah, yeah, but um I just want to be more professional at what I do.
Mhm.
And I think I'm really working hard to become like that. Uh, Several months ago, I thought that if you want to be an English teacher, you just have to be good at English. But that's
Mhm.
not all. If you want to be a good English teacher, you have to know how to deliver the concepts really easily.
That's true.
Yeah,
To
so
make them understand.
yeah, that's really important. So I'm working on that, and I also am going to voice academy to train my voice. So I want to be more professional, and and ultimately, if I become much older, I want to open up like a private space for people who
Mhm.
love it.
You mean like English cafes?
Yeah, yeah. Um, but I don't want to be as a very just boring academy where we just study English, but I want people to experience that English a medium of is just a language and they can have fun while studying English. So I'm not
Mhm.
sure what concept I would employ, but I want to have my own space in the future. Hopefully.
Right. There are some members to waiting for.
Really?
Mhm.
I have to earn more money then. Yeah. So today it was really great to have a conversation with you because although I knew bits and parts of you, I haven't really known that you really like to help other people.
It's good to know we have a mutual, interest.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so impressed that you were a member of a volunteer group since you were really young. Because many people they want to participate in volunteer programs, but they just don't take action. Yeah, maybe including me, maybe they're lazy, maybe I'm like, oh, I have to get paid. Why do I do it for free? Like they might feel like that, but
That's true.
you doing it consistently. That's great.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Okay, so that is the end of today's question, and I hope people would have some just great influence from what we talked. They could think
Yeah,
about their
I hope
own job.
so.
Yeah,
I hope
you
so.
yeah. So I think work forms our identity. Jobs forms our identity. So it's really important. And
And
I
it
hope,
influences society as well.
yeah, it creates a society. It makes it,
Right.
yeah. So
That's true.
yeah. So I just want people to get some insights and some good influence from what we talked.
Hmm.
Yeah. And Sophia, thank you for sharing your time in this evening.
Thank you, Hey.
Yeah. So let's say bye bye to the 100 subscribers on YouTube. Bye bye to the screen. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.